Now, we often hear people say things like, just love yourself, just be yourself, and they throw all these vague things out there, but they don't ever get into the meat and potatoes of what self love truly is, what it looks like, how we can build it, and what holds us back from fully embracing ourselves. Because very often we'll like one or two things. We'll like, oh, I love my hair, or I love how I look, or I love my voice. But what we're going to talk about today is loving yourself deeply, as well as how to remove the thing that hold you back, how to identify them, and how to replace the bad things with the good things, and developing what is a good life to you. Because my idea of what I love and what a good life is to me could be completely different than what yours is. Now, let's get into it. So, your bad opinions of yourself are actually the result of what other people have told you and what you have internalized. So, you got all these messages here. Let me pull out the pen marker right here. You have all these messages here. You got social media, your friends, family, strangers, relationships, your education level, the environment you grew up in. And all of these things are going into your mind here. So let's break this down. Imagine you growing up, you a 5 year old, you a little kid, and man, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a dentist. I want to become a barber. I have all these dreams and hopes. But your family, friends, strangers, they say be realistic. Now you feeling limited. You feeling like I can't do that. So you put a cap here because this is what your mama said, this is what your dad said, this is what your family said. They didn't mean to stomp on your dream, but they did. So it limits you. Then your friends, you growing up, and they talking bad about you. They saying, man, why are you trying that? You can't do that. Why are you trying to be different? Why are you trying to change? Now you going back to that old version of yourself. You're staying limited. Strangers, that could be somebody on social media said something mean to you. You got a hate comment on your YouTube video. Now you're thinking, man, why am I doing this? They don't believe in me. And you stop believing in yourself. And then the relationship you have. So imagine you dating this man or this woman and they hurting you, they disrespecting you, they treating you bad, and you stay. What you stay around is going to influence the way you see yourself. Because if you're allowing yourself to be disrespected, if you're allowing yourself to be talked down on, if you're letting other people's negative opinion hold weight in your mind, it gives it room to grow. And that negative opinion of them, it starts to play over and over and over and over, and you start to believe it. And you start to say it to yourself, and their bad opinion of you begin to become your opinion of yourself. I hope that made sense to you. It's like you're letting it fester in there. You're letting all the ants from outside invade your house, and then they build a colony in there, and you have all these negative thoughts about yourself that came from somebody else. And you can look on social media. If you're not 6 foot tall, you don't got a tiny waist, or you don't look a certain way, or you dress funny, or this, people not gonna want you. Now you starting to internalize that. That becomes your truth. That becomes what you live by. You will live and die behind this truth. But it came from somebody else. The environment you grew up in. If you're growing up and all you seeing is poverty, all you seeing is crime, all you seeing is negativity, it's gonna, as a child, it's gonna make you start thinking that this is all there is. This is the whole world. Everybody is limited. Everybody can't do this. Nobody can make it out. So I can't make it out. You start to believe that because this is what you grew up seeing. And education level, as far as that goes, that's more so a matter of what are you putting into your mind? Are you educating yourself? Are you only going off of what other people tell you? Are you only going off of what you've been taught by somebody else? Or are you giving yourself new information, new knowledge? And are you taking action on it? So, great example of this that just came to my mind. If you think about a plantation of slaves, right? You got 400 slaves on a plantation and like three people with muskets. Because they have been indoctrinated to believe that I can never get out. I can never make it out. We stuck. We never getting out of this. It's 400 people on this plantation. Only three of them got muskets, and the 400 people don't jump the three people with the muskets because they've been brainwashed to believe that they can never make it out. This is what the hood mentality does to a lot of black young men. We start thinking, I can never make it out. I can't get out of this. I gotta become a rapper, basketball, or drug dealer. And then that is why a whole lot of us end up in prison because social media starts telling us you can only be this, you can only be a trapper, you can only be a baller, or you can only be a hooper. Your friends, family, strangers, they say this is all you could be. You ain't getting out of this. This is who you must be. You gotta either play ball, you gotta sell rock, or you gotta rob. That's all you could do. And then the relationships. I don't even mean it to throw shade, but just think about it. Oftentimes in the black community, we're incentivized as men to go and be this because these are the men who get the women, and naturally, men want to date women, so they go and do what the women incentivize. We're being rewarded for bad behavior, basically. Then you look at education level. Now, I don't need that degree. I'm not going to pay attention in class. I'm not going to focus on this. This don't mean nothing. I'm never going to use this. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of what you learn in high school, don't really need it, but you need to learn how to read and how to properly articulate yourself. The reason why I talk so clearly is because I realized, hold up, the people who get paid a lot of money know how to talk clearly. Let me learn how to do that. Then you look at the environment you grew up in. If all you're growing up around is crime, poverty, theft, and all this, you start to think that everybody is snakes, everybody evil. Men don't trust the women, women don't trust the men. And now all of this fuels into your opinion of yourself because you start to think that nobody gonna love you, nobody gonna trust you. So you stop trusting yourself. Now let's move into the next slide here. Ego lens. So, as I mentioned earlier, when you're trying to grow and become something higher, develop into a better version of yourself, whatever that means to you, a lot of times you're going to have people say things like, man, you switched up. Man, you changed up. You acting weird. You acting funny. That's because people have an ego. Your ego is your concept of self. How do you see yourself? I'm handsome. That is your ego. I'm unattractive. That is also your ego. I am funny. That is your ego. I am not funny. That is also your ego. Your ego is just how you see yourself. It is that plain and simple. And when someone's ego feels challenged, it makes them feel bad about themselves, so they subconsciously take actions to protect their sense of self. For example, you might see somebody who way better than you at a certain thing and it makes you feel like you're not good, so you start to act irrationally to bring them back down. Phrases of this, right? We could all relate to this. Man, you trying too hard. Don't forget where you came from. You one of us. You go to the gym too much. Actions people might take. Now you growing, you elevating, you making gains in that gym. Your business is taking off. You got that degree. So now the people you used to hang around, all of a sudden, they're not inviting you no more. They're not trying to be around you. Or they try to copy you. Now all of a sudden they think I could do it better than him, I could do it better than her, and they try to steal your whole flow. They try to copy your whole thing, not realizing how much effort it took for you to learn how to do the thing. So they start trying to copycat. Then they try to make you emotional. They try to get you in your feelings. They start an argument for no reason. Whole lot of men, whole lot of women, they be doing that in relationships to try and bring their partner back down because they partner elevating, they partner looking better, they partner finally getting their business popping off, and they try and bring you back down because they don't want to grow. It's easier for them to tear you down than for them to learn from you and go, you know what? I should grow too. I should learn from them. I should ask them, man, how'd you do it? Girl, how'd you do it? How'd you get that hair business popping off? How'd you get that business popping off? How did you do it? They'd rather tear you down than ask you how you did it to help grow. Then they try to sabotage you. That's when they start bad mouthing. They leaving negative comments. They slandering. They gossiping. They making up stories on you to try and make you look bad to other people so that they themselves look better by comparison to this crazy negative picture they just painted on you. Now, identify what wears you down and remove it. As I mentioned earlier with people, right? People, places, and things. You hear this all the time in places like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. There's a reason for this. Because the people you surround yourself with, they gonna say stuff about you. Man, you never gonna make it. Girl, you never gonna make it. And you got somebody in your ear saying this over and over and over and over. It start to get in there. It start to get up in your head. You gotta cut them out. You can't have it. Because if you're surrounding yourself with a friend or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or somebody like that, and they always talking down to you, they always negative, it's gonna start holding you back because sooner or later you're gonna start believing it. And when you start to believe a negative opinion, like I mentioned earlier, that's gonna start to influence how you see yourself. And when you start to see yourself in a bad way, that limits how much you love yourself because you place a limit on how much you can. Then how they speaking to you when you're not around? Is they gossiping? Is they bad mouthing? Is they saying, "Girl, you heard what Lawrence did?" But in front of your face, they acting all buddy buddy. Nope, we can't have that. Places. I understand that we all got our way we cope. We all got our way we deal with the pain. So you gotta identify when I go to this place, what's it doing to me? Is it holding me back? Is it limiting me? You might need to put down that bottle. You can't be going to that club. You can't be going to that bar. You can't be overeating. Some people that's their thing. They be eating to deal with their pain. Other people might be that pornography. You gotta put it down. Okay, that used to be my problem. That used to be my problem. You can't be going to that because that's gonna make you start to not love yourself enough because you literally watching somebody else do the thing you want to do. It's weird. Okay, I'm telling you, when you put that stuff down and you look at how you used to act, you'll be disgusted. You're like, dang, no wonder I ain't love myself. I was idealizing somebody else winning and trying to live vicariously through them. Then them habits, drinking, smoking, lust, overeating, sleeping to avoid your problems. A whole lot of people, they like, I'm not trying to deal with this. They sleep on it. You're going to wake up and the problem is going to get worse. You got to deal with that. Identify the patterns of your thought that you have. Why do you keep thinking the same thing over and over, the same problem? You got to identify that. And when you identify it, you can find the root cause. Might have been something that happened in childhood. Might have been a friend who keep talking negative with you and now that's influencing you. Might be that bad relationship. You got to identify what it is for you and remove it accordingly. Next, what can we do today? Because we don't just talk around here, we take action. Write out in detail your dream life. Where do you live? What kind of relationship? Do you have a car? Um, just your wildest fantasy. No limits on this. Obviously there's scientific and biological limits, but write out your wildest dream life and then start to take action towards that. You got to identify the negative influences, remove those, and swap them with things that are in line with the desirable life you want. For example, let's say you want to get a six pack. You want six pack abs, you want muscles busting out your shirt. You got to identify the bad influence. The bad influence, that McDonald's. I got to stop going to that McDonald's and instead I got to go to the grocery store and buy some steak and beef and chicken in a journal and you want to document. Because when you write it down, it makes it easier to stick to it. Lastly, when you notice yourself saying something negative out loud, immediately change it. Because whatever you say about yourself over and over and over, you will begin to believe that. And when you start to believe something negative about yourself, it starts to fester. You don't want that. Say positive things like, I'm getting better. I believe, I can do this. And over time, those words will turn into beliefs, and those beliefs will turn into knowing, and that knowing will create the life you want. Now, as you move on from there, I just got back from taking a little quick bathroom break. But as you move on from changing what you say about yourself, the reason why this is so important is that As you begin to believe it, and it plays over and over in your head, it will continue to build. And there's a certain point where it puts you into this invisible box, and that box traps you. You do not want to be trapped in a negative opinion of yourself. Take it from somebody who's been there. And here's how this looks. So imagine your emotions and self love and all of this is like a giant scale. Up here is like pure, absolute self love. Everything's wonderful and fantastic. At the bottom is deep self hatred. This is where people, they resort to addictions, they resort to hurting themselves, hurting others. And I'm not saying that any is better than the other, but it's a whole lot more enjoyable to be further up here than it is to be down here. We're not striving for perfection, we're working towards being the best we can be. I'm not absolutely, completely, utterly flawless. I'm well aware of that. I have my things, I have stuff that I'm still working on. But I'm a whole lot better. I'm a whole lot closer to being up here than I am to being down here. So, as you begin to grow and you begin to develop, you'll notice things like, wow, I'm starting to feel a bit better. Today's not as bad as yesterday. Oh, the sun is shining. Oh, I'm glad to not be homeless. And you start to find things to be grateful for, you'll begin to work your things up the scale. And eventually, there's going to be a day when you're like, my worst day to recently, my worst day this year is better than my best day 2 years ago. Because as you build more self love, you'll begin to love all aspects of your life. And here's some of the benefits that you can expect. Confidence. When you love yourself, you feel good, think good, take good action, and you will begin to grow more and more. Self love. As you begin to love yourself, you will begin to find ways to share that with other people. You're going to improve your habits because when you love yourself, you want to take care of yourself, whether that be physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. When you are there for you and you love you, you will begin to by the way that your own mind works, it wants to do more of what it already is doing. And when you get it on the self love path, when you get it on the good habits, when you get it on the taking care of yourself, it will compel you to keep doing the thing that makes you love yourself more. It's a bit hard to explain, but that's the simplest way I can put it. You will create a healthier mind, body, and spirit. Improved ability to communicate and understand your emotions. That is where journaling really will help you. Because the reason why I always talk about journaling is people often have trouble explaining how they feel. If you can write it out and you can look at this paper and go, okay, here's what I've written, here's what's going on up here. Over time, you'll become better at explaining it to other people. You'll become better at wording it. You'll become better at vocalizing it. And by being able to vocalize it and understand it, you can become better at controlling it. Because it's okay to feel how you feel, but you cannot let the way you feel dictate how you act towards yourself or how you act towards others. Yes, there's exceptions. If you just went through a major tragedy, that's different. If you just went to a funeral, that is much different. Cry as much as you want, cry as much as you need to. But just because somebody cuts you off in traffic and it upsets you does not mean you can swerve your car into a group of pedestrians. You'll have less of a fear of judgment because when you really love you, you don't necessarily care all that much about other people loving you. Yeah, it's nice when people clap and cheer and support you, but you already clap and cheer and support yourself, so you don't need it. You like it. You might want it, but you don't need it. And because you're not in a needy state and you are able to love yourself, the love that you know how to give you, you'll become better at giving that to other people, which therefore will improve your relationship with others, your relationship with your family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, person you're dating, whomever. And lastly, thank you for listening. I highly appreciate the support, whether that be financially, because you already bought this, obviously, and if you leave me a nice review, as well as follow me on my social media pages, Lawrence C. Empowers on all platforms. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.